2011 Ford Fusion rear hub bearing replacement. As you see, trying to get the wheel off, 2 lug nuts broke, and then another 2. So now we're left with 1 36mm axle nut. What we're going to do, got a 13. We're not going to take the caliper and take the brake off. We're going to take the caliper bracket with the brakes and stuff still attached. So we're going to go to the top here, 113, and right below it is another 13 right in that little hole. I took the bolt out already, but through the frame it's a hole. You stick your socket through. You're going to need an extension, your long 13, stick it in the hole, and then it'll give you access to your second bolt. Get both of those out. We got our second bolt out. As you can see, the whole wheel is spinning, but if you wiggle and pull, the caliper will come off. Excuse me. I'm doing this with one hand. And it's just about off. The caliper is connected to the bracket with the brake still in there. Set that up there. Now you got a better idea of what the bolts get mounted to. So now we're going to take the rotor off. We got a little wiggle room, so it may come off. You may have to hit it with a hammer. We already had these screws out before I even touched the vehicle, so that's a plus. But if you got these screws in there, you got to take these 2 screws out first. And you just hammer around the edge here, get the rotor off. As you see, the car's been sitting for months. So we're going to get this rotor off. Okay, I'm moving a little bit too fast. In order to get access to your axle nut, you're going to have the center cap on. Got to remove that using a hammer and a chisel going around the outside edge. So in order to get this rotor off, 36mm, you got to take off, hammer around the edge, and then your rotor will come off.
Byron,
yeah.
If you taking it all the way off, you hear me? If they can pop.
So I got the rotor off, and then you take the new part and just drop it inside the hole. So with the new bearing sitting inside the rotor, it looks like that. Then you just sit the whole unit up on a spindle. But I'm going to put some grease on there. I don't like metal on metal. So I put some grease up there on that spindle. Put a little bit more inside the bearing. And then you tighten it up with this axle nut. That's what keeps the rotor on. We can just take our caliper, stick it back on top, put our 2 bolts in. Got the top bolt started here. Now I gotta reach all the way to the back, right in that hole, and I'll drive this bolt through. Trying to get you a good angle. I don't think I'm gonna be able to do it with one hand. So down there you can kind of see the silver and the threads. The silver is my tool. And I'm gonna have to twist this as I'm lifting up and down on the caliper to get that bolt started. Okay, so now what I'm doing is I'm putting the wheel on, and I'm gonna tighten up 2 lug nuts with the center cap removed. I'm gonna lower the vehicle to the ground so it's barely touching, and you tighten up this axle nut to 189 foot-pounds. Okay, so let the Put the wheel on, tighten up the axle nut. Now you can remove it. This is the factory wheel. We're putting these wheels on. And that's it. 2011 Ford Fusion rear hub bearing replacement. Comment, like, and subscribe, please.